Welcome back to another Phill-osophy Arc episode. In this episode, I'm covering starting a YouTube channel. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to cost money. It doesn't have to be time consuming or make us feel like we're struggling out of our depth and being overwhelmed and then having the anxiety that makes us want to run away into the hills, This is my setup. It's the Hugo Boss box from my Hugo Boss cologne that I wear to work around my clients. And it's a $4 phone stand from the local op shop where I volunteer. Granted, the hinge at the back is broken, so a bit of sticky tape stiffens it up, and sometimes it falls over, but hey, we don't need $1 million to start a dream and a journey, This is my lighting source number one. Sometimes when it's not enough, I'll tilt it and sit it like that for a bit more light, Hell, one day I might have a light ring. Right now, I'm not here for details, folks. I'm here to get stuff done. My next source of lighting is my ceiling lights, and that's it. Super simple. This is my main monitor. This is my secondary monitor. Here's the jacket that was the first thing I ever created as a creative artist, Racer Recycles. This jacket got me the name Pockets. That mask appeared, and it was built for the short student film Wasteland. It's not a complicated setup, folks. It's to follow the rule of KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. This here is the book that I initially wrote down my dreams and goals for 1 year plans and stuff. 1 week plans, 1 month plans, 2 year plans. In here I wrote, this is what it was originally going to be called, More Than a Husk. And a husk is a man who's got nothing. A man who is empty on the inside. Dead, filled with nothing. No hope, no dreams. No willpower to live. No direction in life to go. No compass heading. A man who has been broken by the universe and society and the world and people and other humans, again and again and again. Picture a cob of corn with a husk on it. Now take the cob away. That is a husk of a man. That was originally what this series was going to be about. It was going to be about rebuilding myself from zero, from absolute nothing, from a young man of 11 years ago who wanted to give up on the universe and exit the world, Now I love living every day. I've got nice art on my walls that I collect from local artists. I have nice things like my editing station. This desk that I got for bloody $5 with adjustable legs, and my old desk was just an old hand-me-down blowing slide-out keyboard and desk was about 1 meter 20 wide. Now I have a 1.5 meter desk. I can fit everything on it. I started simple, from humble beginnings. I started with nothing, and writing down in this book as a 1 year plan. They say what gets measured gets done. And a good year should be about 3 things, they also say. 3 tasks we want to achieve, 12 months to do them. And hell, what I did was cool. I wrote down my 3 things and I wrote them down in order 1, 2, 3 of how much I wanted each of them. And I'm kicking so much goals doing those things now on that list that everything's coming to me. They say don't live at the peak of the mountain. Live at the bottom of the valley. And the natural order of life and good things will flow down to meet you. Down in the riverbed, Life naturally flows downhill. Not many people who go to the top of Bogong, to the peak, but a lot more people are down in the valley. So I started from humble beginnings and I built this YouTube series initially on Instagram. running it on my artist Instagram account as Recent Recycles. Those videos are still up. Granted, they are janky, unpolished, rough editing, cut off vocals at times. That was just a prototype back then, and I thought it was just that was going to be the whole series, and I got to episode 1. Oh, no. Oh, there we are. I got to episode 49 on Instagram, and I thought, you know what? Sure. I wrote, make it a YouTube channel in a year, and I thought, well, it's been a couple of months. I'm doing 2 uploads a day on Instagram, morning and evening. I was in the flow state, folks, and so I was kicking goals so fast and so quickly that I thought, why not? Let's push the timeline up a bit, you know. So instead of waiting a year, I waited mere months and weeks, and then I started dumping all the content that I put on the Instagram onto the computer. And the first thing I did was I downloaded DaVinci. Great program, by the way. I'll just fire it up right now. So DaVinci is a freeware video editing program. There is a paid version, but the freeware version allows you to chop with Control B, and then Control V paste, and Control Z to undo, and Control Shift Z to redo. You know, it's a super simple program. We'll flip the camera. This is DaVinci. Now, you can start a project like this. You call it a ep something. There we go. You hit enter. You got your thing. You go to edit down the bottom. You go videos, RR, and we say Flying Hills cover song. Well, it's not a video. Flying Hills cover. There we go. We drag that straight into here. Line it up on the timeline. There we go. Then we can do things like, we want to chop the end off. You go click up here, go Control B, we've chopped the end off. We want to do an outro, say. So we're going to go back to our folder. Going to go back to here. Going to go PA editing for Phill-osophy Arc. We're going to go get the intro, well, which is now the outro. Currently, we're going to get that. And then we're going to chop that off back to there. Chop that, that, get this. Now this is, you can use the buttons, we can use up or down, goes through each scene. When we hit O, it crops the entire video. Here's our files that are in there. And then we're gonna go simply File, Quick Export, YouTube, Export, ep something, and then we're gonna go save. That's gonna compile, and then we're gonna go over to PA editing. We're gonna go back, we're gonna go PA exports. We're gonna go down to the bottom here, and ep something is there, and boomski. That is how complex editing could be at its most basic input, you know. And there's some sound after I unplug my headphones, you know. Anyway, it is that simple, folks. There is also a few other things we can do. We can do things like click here or select everything, and then we can go flip it. Well, that allows everything to then turn up as intended, you know. So cameras film backwards when they're filming forwards off the screen camera, you know. And there we go, that's the current orientation of my bedroom. And that's that. It's not hard. And small beginnings, baby steps, folks. We don't need the best, we don't need the fanciest, we don't need the biggest budget. because what we water and nurture and plant in the ground, if we care for it, folks, it'll grow in time. Also, rip those sunglasses. I put them on the roof of my car and then the next day drove off and they were lost to the voids of time. I will miss them. But I'm working on building a new pair out of some Tiffany's silver at the men's shed and the silversmiths, and I will build a new pair from memory, bigger and better than the last. So nothing's going to stop me, not even my lost sunnies, you know. I did love them, but I will miss them. Anyway, keep it simple, folks. Have fun. The sky is the limit. The only glass ceiling is the ones we build over our own heads, and nothing can stop us. We can second guess ourselves. We can throw excuses and roadblocks in the way. We can slow ourselves down and cripple us with fear and worry and anxiety. Or we can just have a go. Because this YouTube series started with a prototype on Instagram, and now it's 54 episodes in, and it's got a handful of followers. It's got a bunch of bloody view time and a couple of likes, you know, and I'm enjoying myself. This series brings me inner happiness. It is the thing that fulfills my soul and tops up my battery every day, you know. It is my main hobby outside of fishing and computer gaming. I'm probably doing more Phill-osophy Arc at the moment than I'm doing fishing in town or anywhere else. So start small, start with an idea, write up a concept, grab yourself a second-hand book from the op shop, rip out the used pages, and don't be afraid to start writing something down, you know, because what gets measured gets done, as they say. I have ADHD and a splash of autism, and the rest is human, but you know, at the end of the day, folks, I'm not the most amazing person. I'm not the most successful. I'm not the most impressive, rich, or good looking. I'm just a simple dude wandering through the universe, you know, on my own journey like the rest of you. And I had a dream that I want to share with other people. And that dream is that Phill-osophy Arc is about the kind of like the book of life, the stuff they didn't teach us in high school or primary school or at home. It's sometimes the thing that our grandparents or grandfathers would cover, and they'd share us as little slices of wisdom, you know, like a father and son passing down little bits of wisdom. That is what this Phill-osophy Arc is to me. It is the hard-won and hard-learned lessons in life that I've acquired over 6 years of bleeding, sweating, and pain, and suffering, and victories, and failures, you know. And I'm bringing them to you, tax-free, no ads, no nothing. This is free to air, this show. And I will ensure that it continues to be so, because knowledge and wisdom to live a better, happier life each and every day, to learn, grow, evolve, and thrive, is something that I heavily believe in. And this is my gift to all of you. This is the only thing I'll leave behind after I'm dead, and it is the one thing I want to leave behind as my legacy. A life manual, entry-level life manual, say, that sit down, have a listen, put it on before bed and just lay down and close your eyes, you know. You don't need to be staring at me. I'm not that good looking, you know. But the point of this soul series is to leave a little bit of a loose entry-level life guide to the way of life. Because sometimes a lot of us don't have anybody or many in our lives to help teach us how to walk the path of living in life, you know. And life and the universe will, at times, kick us right in the guts. Sometimes again and again and again. Sometimes it's about clenching them abs, standing up, and then like kicking life in the guts right back and saying, hey, touche. I hope this has been helpful and informative advice, and if you've taken a little something away from today's episode, and you've got something that you're super passionate about and you really want to share with the world, you know, start a YouTube channel. It takes less than an hour to start a YouTube channel, you know. The world is waiting, and we want to be there with you and see your dreams in film, you know. So go out there, folks. Live your best life. Do it with a smile. Face the hardship and come out the other side with a lesson learned and a grin on your face and a good story at the pub, you know. Because I believe in you, and I always will be. This is Racer of Phill-osophy Arc. Catch you later. Love you lots. Hey, future Racer here. If you're finding the Phill-osophy Arc series inspirational, educational, entertaining, humorous, or it's giving you a little smile, think about liking and subscribing. If you have a family member, loved one, or friend who you think could equally benefit from this series, think about sharing it with them.